Hi, my name is Shea DeFour-Remy. I'm from Wisconsin, but I went to school in Trinidad in the Caribbean. So my hometown is kind of hard to define, but I would call the US my home. Regardless, I'm a fourth year student. I have a major in astronomy and minors in Japanese language, physics, and mathematics. When I was young, I knew I wanted to do science, but I knew I only had one chance to do a field in my life, and I started thinking kind of in depth, too in depth for a 12-year-old, but I was thinking, what is the biggest scale thing I can study? And I leaned more and more towards astronomy because I started getting fascinated by looking at these images and thinking to myself, wait a second, those are real. They're just very far away. And so I got more fascinated by the physics of things that were real but that I could not see in my day-to-day life. And I wanted to be able to study that and help aid, I guess, humanity's understanding of space. And for Arizona specifically, I think it came down to just the astronomy department. I heard so many good things about it, and I know that the research opportunities are some of the biggest reasons why I recommend the school to anyone looking into astronomy. My favorite thing about the U of A, I would say the astronomy department, but if I'm going to throw you a curveball, I would say my second favorite thing about the school is the EAS department. And that's because I've had some of the most fun non-STEM classes from that department, to the point where one of my best friends, my roommate now, is actually a major in EAS. And I think it's been really helpful in motivating me to study Japanese. And now I can speak Japanese, and I want to do astronomy abroad in Japan using that skill set I got from doing all those EAS classes. My favorite class so far that I thought would be my least favorite was quantum mechanics. Full-blown quantum theory has been at the top of my mind since I finished that class. And I've realized after doing that class and a little bit of special relativity that many of the things that we learn in physics are lies in high school. And quite a lot of the challenge in the later years is unlearning those imperfect models of the world, and it's been fascinating to think about. Honestly, it was the hardest class that I did so far, but I feel like I got the most out of it in terms of fundamental properties of my field of physics. I always emphasize, that I'm not satisfied with using something, using a phenomenon if I don't understand it, and so I like to understand the physics behind things that I'm using in astronomy. So I would say professionally, the most impactful experience I've had here is getting to use James Webb data cycle 1, when the data was still proprietary, and I knew things were getting real when I was told that I couldn't share it with either my roommate or my mom or anyone like that. And getting that opportunity to see some of the first few galaxies, some of the earliest galaxies, was just blowing my mind. I felt really privileged when I was sitting there experiencing that. Well, I actually have been quite a rare case where I've been very straight set on my goals throughout college, and I have not deviated much while still being satisfied. So I knew I wanted to do a PhD program, and I'm approaching that. So I still intend to do that. In particular, though, I want to make use of my Japanese knowledge to potentially do graduate school abroad in Japan. Tokyo is one of the primary places I'm looking for in terms of astronomy opportunities. But I would be fine going to school in the US and doing postdoctoral studies abroad. So it's something that I want to do right after my undergrad. So to me, funnily enough, my life hasn't changed much after becoming a science ambassador. Usually when you take on a role like this, you imagine that you have to help people more, you have to be more outgoing. But whenever I see a student, whether it's a freshman, sophomore, struggling with something, whether it's a physics problem or an astrophysics problem, I can't help but want to just help. It's just a natural feeling. So honestly, I feel like it's just been a natural progression of my time here at university, just to be a senior and help out people who I see struggling with things that I know I went through myself. This ambassador work has allowed me to reflect on all of the things that I've been through, everything that I've learned so far. There's just been so much growth that I never realized until I stopped to look back at it. And I think that being a science ambassador to me is being myself with a few extra appointments.